Hello guys, and welcome to a new Star Division 2 video today by myself, Vulcan, and Attack Power.
Hope you guys are having a fantastic day.
In this video, we have for you Game 4 of a best of 5 between Insha and Gonzo in the grand final of the Division 1 Season 9 playoffs of the Still Division 2 League. Today they are playing on Bobr, and on our left in the red team, we have Insha playing on the Axis side with Ryhma Raappana and the Maverick deployment type. And on our right in the blue team, playing also on the Axis side, we have Gonzo using first Lovas and the balanced deployment type. So currently things 2-1 in the series for Gonzo. He had a great showing in the last game, holding off Insha's Maverick on Krupa, which was another river map. And we have the same situation this time around. What do you think of these divisions?
I'm a big fan of First Lovas. It's a very fun division play. Terrans are super fun. Great to see more of them in the game now with the new DLC. Go check that out if you haven't seen that new DLC. Against Ryhma, again, we've seen this division shine several times. I think it's a good matchup, though. Both these players can go either way. So Forest will be absolutely the kingdom of Ryhma. But anything open is the kingdom of First Lovas. So the problem is there's not a ton of forests on this map. So I do think the advantage then goes over to Gonzo a little bit for this choice. And of course, once again, him doing balanced. You know I love to see that, just like I love seeing you hit that like and subscribe button. So make sure to do that and also play balanced in your decks because it's more fun that way.
Yeah. The games last longer, you get to see more units.
Exactly.
What's not to like? What's not to like?
And you get to hold on for dear life for 20 minutes, and it's just so much more exciting. At least I think so.
I do prefer matches that differ in deployment time.
Yes.
I definitely do.
Yes, very much yes.
Anyway, let's have a quick look at what's going on for Insha. On the top side, he's got a Maxim, he's got a Lati, he's got the 122mm early on. It's going to be sitting on top of that hill, providing some nice HG support. Ratsavaki and a Vekotin to cover that. Further down, we got the Takampuya with the 50mm mortar, Lati, Ratsavaki and Yakari. Further down, we have Yakari, Ratsu, Suksipianini with the Kavari and a Maxim. And on the very bottom side, we got two Takampuya, two Lati, the Yakari there, Suksipianini, Sisi, 45mm. We've also got the Maxim and a Ratsuvaki at the back. On the side of Gonzo, on the top, he has the Turan 2 leader with a 75mm and, well, the 75mm infantry gun and a 75mm AT with the Shvaloza and the Felderator Yaror, which is the two-man recon squad. Then we have another infantry gun with the Hasago Hasarok Kerak Parasok with the Turan and Nimrod and the Felderator Yaror there as well. Further down, we've got the Kerak Parasok with the Hasarok and Lovas Federatok even. So interesting, he's got both Federator Yaror and Lovas Federatok in phase A. He's got Turan 2 leader and the Nehes Buska pushing forwards early on. And on the bottom side, just two Kerak Parasok with the Turan 2 to cover that bridge. So not really investing much into the bottom side. Insha really kind of investing a lot here, and might go for an early push across this bottom side river into these trees so that he can get the advantage out of his infantry.
Yeah, it's actually really weird because usually this southern hill is a huge contention point, with blue usually pushing across to try to capture. That's why Insha is probably going like all in here, thinking he's got a whole attack coming, and there's nothing. But the nice thing with Ryhma is your troops are pretty cheap, so you can really put a lot of troops everywhere.
I wouldn't put it past Gonzo to identify where he will do well with his infantry and where he won't do so well. But it seems like he's maybe bringing in a lot of this infantry from the top side. Now further down, noticed a bit of a hole in his defense. It's driving down from the mid to the bottom side rather than from the bot to the mid. Ooh. I guess technically the road is shorter, but nice kill there by the Nehes Buska onto that Kubal.
Yeah, because that Latiel is so good. That would have done so much damage to these Husaroks. And that's a big fail there, unfortunately. These Takampuya, fantastic. He also threw down some smoke. So there we do see smoke play with these early AT rifle squads. Both players doing that, but the Takampuya now on target. These can very easily kill transports.
Actually, just took out two squad members from both of the Hasarok there with two shots. And also now hitting the Kerak Parasok Gonna have to pull that back. You can't stay there and to sustain fire. It will take a lot of damage. Ratsavaki gonna move forwards though and try and help pin them down. There aren't as many MGs here because it's not Hasuko Sodashok, but still 4 Sodatherns will eventually get the job done if they all get on target. But the Takan Puya gonna go down, and Gonzo here gonna be trying to win this medium range engagement against the Ratsavaki. Nice kill by the Turan onto the Kubel there. Takes out the Maxim early on. Blenheim now coming in though, and no AA to be seen for Gonzo, so this could do a lot of damage. Gonzo already spreading.
Yeah, this forest is basically the biggest forest on the map, and Insha's best chance to like use his CQC units here. We also see really far down south, he pushed across this river. He noticed Gonzo didn't do anything, so he just kept going, which is a great heads up play, and it's, you know, something we don't see a lot of lower tier players notice. Like, you know, like me personally, I would have sat on this hill like an idiot and just looked at no one coming and been like, ha ha ha, it's my hill. But Insha just piling across, no hesitation.
Yeah, it's not quite netting him a flag just yet. Like there's a flag across the bridge that's being kind of contested a little bit, but he's going to have to get quite deep here towards the Pekara Palasok in this Turan 1 if he really wants to find value out of pushing across the river on the very bottom side. Meanwhile, though, the Hazarok, Lovas Federitok, they didn't really take much damage from that bombing strike, nor did they get pinned much. The Blenheim kind of not quite hitting the mark. The Kadak Palasok actually revealing themselves on the bottom side as they hit the Lati there, so that will give away some information. Now 50mm mortar, trying to pin down the Kadak Palasok further up. We've also got the 122 arting the 75mm gun and the AT here, trying to get some damage in onto those units.
Yeah, those support weapons are a little too bunched up there, and also though the 122 can be seen by that Turan 2 right there. And as long as it's on fire position, it's not going to use the T-shells. This could be problematic.
He's changed it to attack move, so we got a heat round coming in onto the Turan, but it's really got to hit the mark for the first shot, and he does. Oh, that was clutch. As the 122 does get pinned down. Oh, that could have been really bad news for the 122. Because it is an artillery vehicle, it actually takes more damage from tanks, and also the Turan 2 does have the HE as well to really punch holes in that. So yeah, lucky shot there.
Very. So more troops coming, a whole bunch of CCs. The CCs are Insha's best chance of fighting at range. They're absolutely devastating. They're super duper good. But he gets a good number of them, but they're certainly not infinite. This fight down south not going great. Of course, anytime one of those Hungarians try to go into a woods, they get absolutely deleted. But as we can see here with the Ratsu Pioneer and the Yaakari here, they just don't hold up at range at all.
And the Yaakari, if they catch out Kadak Palasok in this light cover, they can definitely pick them apart. The CC now getting involved there as well with the machine gun and its SVT. 60p and nearly going to get the double flamer on target. Oh, that Kadak Palasok's in a very bad spot. But the Hazarok and Lovas Federitok can engage. That's now a bad spot for Insha to be in as he retreats away from the Turan 2 even, providing some fire support. Focke-Wulf 190 did come in the mid, get a bombing strike onto the Ratsavaki that pushed forward, but the Kadak Palasok pushed out of position there initially by the 50mm mortar suppression. Now the Focke-Wulf coming in for the strafing run at the bottom side, trying to finish off the Suxi Pianeri. More CC now coming in, the KV and the 45mm AT gun looking to get into position to try and start knocking out some of these Turans.
Yeah, he's got to kill these off. They are super good against infantry at these tight areas and stuff. The only nice thing is, because they're Turans, the light AT of Ryhma is actually effective. Against certain divisions, it's almost useless, but against this division specifically, it can kill everything that Gonzo can bring out. The problem is he can bring a lot of them out. We already see what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Like we've seen 6 or 7 Turans already, so he's leaning hard into his armor.
81mm mortars going for their strike onto the 122. Doesn't seem to be terribly effective just yet, unless his last shot's going to hit the mark. Takes down another man. But yeah, with Gonzo on this balanced Lovash, I would expect him to really have quite a lot of these Turans in his deck, and they don't have veterancy, which means his availability of them is quite high. And as the game goes on, if Insha doesn't start cutting them down, it could kind of get out of hand and make it very difficult for him to push with his Maverick deployment type.
Yeah, once again, a little odd. I feel like Insha picking Maverick on this map. This is a more Mavericky map. You can manage Maverick on this map a little better than Krupa, but it's still an uphill fight. It seems an unnecessary one. Nimrod up north doesn't manage to stop the Blenheim, but it might shoot it down because these things are absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, that's a 40 mil A8. Very nice. That bombing strike not quite really hitting the mark. It does get the pin. Doesn't really get much damage done. And that's sometimes the problem with these Blenheims. They're not so great about killing these infantry squads, especially like anything that slightly moves, because they drop their bombs so high and they need to be very accurate to do damage. Like, that's a good example there. The AT gun didn't move, so the Blenheim gets a kill. And then when like the Hustle there are just chilling, like that didn't really get hit. But that was mainly probably because of the AA spreading the bombs in the first place.
Yeah, it's easy to forget. The Blenheims, they're very effective. They're pretty cheap. They're very fast. But their bomb loadout isn't actually that great. It's not a devastating bomb load. Tehran 2 down south does go down to the 45 mil, but the 45 mil dies immediately after. There's still one on the hill, though, so that can still supply some support. And Insha re-grabbing that flag there, so definitely good. We're got about 2 minutes left in A phase, and then Insha has to seize his moment, as it were.
Yeah, he has a great sort of bridgehead here on the bottom side that he would potentially be able to use to grab the flags on the bottom side here, but getting through the town after getting through these trees is actually going to be very difficult. So I think maybe he has to be content with taking this one flag across the bridge and then maybe focus on the one further up with the two Hussadok defending it. Because then at least he can, again, utilize the heavy forest cover. Whereas, yeah, as soon as he gets up on top of this hill, it's light cover, it's town. Like, this is ideal locations for the Lovas infantry to really shine.
Yeah, and I think I almost feel like Insha was really hoping to get the other side of the map, because if he was on the other side of the map, then he could actually use his infantry to capture all these red flags over here, like fighting in the forest and stuff. But unfortunately, he ended up on the other side, and now he only has one flag to capture on this side of this river here, down south at least. And I think that's going to make it really rough, because he's not going to do well up north here. Tehran 2, though, does go down to another 45 mil. Like I said, this light AT will be very effective in killing these, but it's just can he kill enough of them?
Yeah, and what you say about these flags is very true. Yeah, and now I see it on the other side. That would have been rough.
He could have done really well if he had been on the other side. He could capture this hill. He'd grab the flag down there. That's 2 flags right there. Pretty easy to capture. But unfortunately, he ended up on the other side. And this side kind of sucks for Ryhma.
Yeah. So it looks like currently he's trying to contest the flag a little bit further up. Whether it is that Latsavaki have managed to get across the bridge. He can contest on this bottom side bridge. And then maybe around where the church is, that flag is maybe his third option for a 15-9.
Yes.
He does manage to get a nice kill, though, onto one of the Ryhma Raappana before they unload with the Yakari. Yakari, with the 2-star veterancy and the SVTs, can do quite a lot of damage to transports quite quickly, so going to be doing a good job. But the Focke-Wulf coming in there, going to shut down that Yakari. Not quite getting the kill because it's 50-kilogram bombs, but definitely forcing it back for the time being.
Definitely. So we are now into B phase. So Insha needs to take advantage, and he's got to capture basically the 3 flags we just talked about. This one over the bridge, this one right next to the church tower, and then that one that you can kind of cheeky grab there up north from the little forest patch there. That's basically like that's it. He needs to capture those 3. I don't see how he captures any of the others, to be quite frank.
Got the gauntlet coming in, 152 mil off map. This off map is actually relatively decent. It looks like it will be going for the 2 Hussadok squads here on the church, which might open the door for these units to come through, but the aircraft going down there to the Nimrod.
Nimrod might take down the gauntlet. It turned a stupid way, and down it goes. Ooh.
It's only 1 strike, and it's not really going to hit too much. It's like value in terms of pinning stuff down, but maybe not so much in terms of actual kills. Suksi Pianidi and Natsu really doing a lot of damage on one of those Ryhma Raappana. The Kivari need to be careful not to run into those Ryhma Raappana, otherwise they will be having a bad time.
Yeah, we can see up north a good example of the problem here is he's got 3 squads of Ratsuvaki, and they could barely beat this Husa Godeshorashak in 3-on-1 combat. Now the Tehran does go down to the 45. the Pack 38 there. So another dead, another Blenheim coming in up north, but the Nimrod is here and very, very dangerous. 2-star now because once again, Gonzo's brought in a commander.
Yeah, and that's going to be hurting a lot. The crit there made it fall back very quickly with the engine stall. On the bottom side, 50mm does take out another Turan 2, but the double infantry gun from Gonzo, 275mm guns here, quickly returning the kill, which isn't actually worth it because it's like I think it's what? 45 points for a Pack 38, and it's only 40 points for a Turan 2.
Another Pack 38 about to go down here. These are big losses because Ryhma does not have that much AT to work with. So these are losses Insha cannot sustain. And the off-map did come down, and it did essentially nothing, especially now that he didn't really follow up fast enough, and now there's some Turans there as well. So this push is getting really quickly shut down in the center, and tons of Goya Shuttershocks coming in as well, and they will completely block off this open area.
Yeah, he's just going to create a wall of machine guns here that Inch is going to have a real hard time breaking down, especially since his off-map aircraft did get shot out of the sky. So no secondary strike coming in from those. Ratsavaki, as you mentioned, not really doing that great because the Lati Saloranta they use, the machine gun really doesn't suppress very well. It is slightly more accurate than the Hasadox Solithan, but overall, not the best machine gun, especially since they're in limited numbers.
Yeah, it's bad. The word you're looking for is bad. And not that the Hungarian machine gun's much better, but the fact is they make up for it by having 3 of them at a time.
Nice positioning of this Taka Ampuya on the bottom side by Insha, spotting the reinforcing road. Actually going to fire at the transports. I'm not actually convinced that's like the best play here. Maybe have them on return fire and just kind of get information from that. I think is better.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But,
I mean, Gonzo might not notice. That is possible. But it's going to take a long time to kill off this thing, so he probably will eventually.
Yeah, the Hasagoya Sadashuk slowly getting sniped to death on the bottom side there. Hasagoya Sadashuk finish off the Ratsavaki that were holding the ground across the river. And yeah, Insha's position isn't really getting any better. His 122 on this hill at the top is still getting harassed by the 81mm mortar. Hasn't found the kill though. Hasagoya Sadashuk killing off some Yakari here potentially. 45mm going to try and have a go, but the Focke-Wulf coming in immediately for the bombing strike there, and a nice strike.
Yeah, the other big issue here to note is that Gonzo has established a command chain here. So all his troops are now, basically all these northern troops at least, are all triple star. While, you know, we do have a little bit of veterancy here for Insha, but the majority of his troops are still sitting around 1 star, which that difference in veterancy adds up in a hurry.
Yeah, it gives you so much more value. Especially since in this situation, he already has the ranged advantage. Like, having veterancy and a ranged advantage is, like, incredibly important. Just because it limits the damage you take from the machine guns. But the veterancy now relatively high with the help of the Cavalry here, further up. He's got 3-star CC. He just needs to get them in range.
Yeah, it's tough. It just feels like every infantry fight is an uphill fight because you're not. If he can get into this little line of buildings here along the edge of the river, he might be able to grab this bridge flag, which would be really nice. That would give him another flag, and he has finally grabbed this one next to the woods there. These Hasagoya Shuttershocks here broken down pretty well, and the CC doing its best to finish them off. But now the Turan's coming in to support along with the infantry gun. They're going to get absolutely everything on the edge of the forest is going to get wrecked.
Yeah, it's very, very difficult. These Turan 2s really providing a lot of value and damage against these units. And it's difficult for Insha to get AT into position. You can see he's being forced to push an AT gun across this bridge. Which if Gonzo spots, he can just jump an infantry squad forwards, the Hasagoya Sadashuk, for example, and just gun it down. No problem.
75mm versus 75mm, one being an AT gun and one being an assault gun. But the 75mm, a really good HE gun anyway. We'll see which. Oh, that was a big hit. Ouch. Oh no, this is going poorly. It's not
Yeah,
going.
the 2 veterancy on that 75mm infantry gun definitely helping out a lot there. Further down, the 75mm of Insha did take out a Turan 2. So another Turan 2 taken out, but the 75mm left in disarray. Hasegae Sodashok now being chewed up by T26 and Natsu. But the Turans there coming into support.
We do see a 155mm artillery piece, so that's nice to see. This is definitely pretty important for Insha to get these rolling here a little bit. T26 does go down, unfortunately. That can kill Turans, but not 2 at a time.
Seems like Gonzo really wants to get rid of this 122. Nice. Yeah, nice that Insha did manage to get across the bridge here on the top side, but he doesn't have much of a way to secure this. Especially now that 149mm artillery is on the field. It's actually a quite nice pickup at this point because it does shut down these 122mm that can potentially kill off a lot of this infantry, and just did once again with the Hasadok kill there in the open.
Yeah, and the 149 is significantly better than the 155 of Insha here because of its fire rate being twice as fast. These things are incredibly good. These 31Ms, they just put down so much. I think it's the fastest firing heavy gun in the game.
Yeah, the 31M is very nice for sure. The nice thing about the 155 though for Insha is it's cheap.
It is
only
cheap.
115 points, and they do have radio, so they are relatively accurate. Just take a little while to aim.
Turan 2 going down to the Pack 38 down there. So that was a nice kill. He definitely needs to keep doing that, but I think the infantry gun now sees it. Yep. It's going to start chunking that if he doesn't move it back immediately. It's probably going to die unless the artillery can get a lucky shot here.
He changed the target there.
Oh, sadness.
He didn't fire a second round, which means that his Pack 50 is going to have to do a run at. More Hasegae Sodashok coming in for the top side now, just trying to hold back Insha, but nice kill. Turan takes out the 122, and the other one was already killed off by the 149mm. So Gonzo getting some significant stuff done here. Blenheim's now coming on with another gauntlet with the off map on the bottom side.
Yeah, we see another 155, and there's a unit here I don't think I've ever seen used. The 84K 83 8mm. Never seen this weapon used. Looks fun. It's a light artillery piece. Up north, Blenheim does go down to the AA.
Oh,
it's a light artillery gun. I've just never seen anyone use it.
That is a very odd choice. He's brought it in at 2 vet.
Yeah.
It does have reasonable rate of fire, but on that bottom side, devastation. I think the Blenheim got shot down, and then the Gauntlet got shot down afterwards.
Oh, I didn't see the Gauntlet go down. That's really.
It only got 1 strike off again. And the investment in those is really rough, especially if he doesn't actually make ground off this. But
he should.
When this off map lands, there's a potential 15-9 here if he manages to get back on the flag that he just lost elsewhere. Where was that other flag?
It was the flag next to the forest patch here, across the bridge. You know, the one next to that forest patch, like middle north. He lost that one.
Oh, okay.
All right, off map down. Infantry did die. If it killed the Turan 2, that would be extremely helpful, but it doesn't look like it's going to manage that. Back to a 1410. Faka-Wolf forced off up north. Still gets his bombs off, though. These infantry, though, getting broken down here. He's about to probably lose that flag at the bridge as well. So despite finally getting this flag down south, it looks like he's going to lose his progress up north at the same time. And I did like to note he brought in the 155s at double vet. I'm not really a fan of vetting your artillery. It just decreases availability and really does not improve their performance significantly.
Yeah, and I think the only thing it does is after they've aimed, they fire faster. Like they unleash more rounds quicker. I think that's the main thing. But it's not really that useful.
No,
it doesn't. Like you say, it doesn't really change much. 50 mil does take out one of the Turans on the bottom side, so no more Turan support on this bottom side of the map for the time being. But it's actually quite significant.
It is, but if you actually look, there's not much left here. I mean, Insha's lost most of his troops. He's got two-man squads here, and he's got some Ratsuvaki coming in. We see huge attacks coming. Here we go again with Gonzo just throwing Hosaguro Shoroshoks forward here onto the other side of the river. Now we're still in. We just started C phase, so Insha still has the advantage here for the next few minutes, but that'll slowly go away here as we go income wise. I should say income wise, the advantage.
Yep, 75 mil did take out another 45 mil ITIG on the bottom side. We saw the Hasago Shoulder Shock really almost kill that CCKV, but these two are taking back the top, and Insha not really being able to support very well from this hill is kind of bad news for Insha. He doesn't really have a way to stop Gonzo from... I mean, Gonzo just looks like he wants to go up the hill. Honestly, and he can. There's not much really there to stop him. If he gets infantry into the town on the top of that hill, it's going to be even worse for Insha.
Actually, probably the best weapon up here on the hill to stop that Turan is probably the Vekatin. With its AP shells, it probably could kill that Turan too.
If it was in light cover and it aimed before it got spotted, then yeah, I would agree. Otherwise, it might just get killed.
It probably, but I would like to see it. It'd be fun.
Bottom side, Hasadok pushing forwards here. Take out the Kavadi leader. Yakari being forced to do a runner. Natsavaki. Oh, that is it. 23 minutes, 2 seconds. Insha does not see a way back in. And just like that, Gonzo's going to win Steel Division League Season 9.
Again.
Congratulations to him. Insha just having a hard time, and I really think you're right about him wanting the other side of the map. Like, it would have been a completely different game.
He would have had that's an okay division. I don't love that division of Bobr. I'm going to say right now, I'm not a huge fan of it. We saw UU crush with it in Division 2, but like, I'm not a huge fan of it on that map. From the other side, it's okay, though. It's serviceable. You can work the southern side really well, and your infantry can get into woods and stuff, and you can continue to kind of like poke and hold those flags and work with the north as best you can. But if you're on the other side, there was not much for him to do. He can't play the north at all, basically, because his units don't have long range anything. And the south, there's not enough to capture to help you. So it felt like a roll of the dice to me, and he lost the roll of the dice, at least in the division choice. Yeah,
for sure. And the other thing is, like, with Ryhma Raappana, you've obviously got great close range infantry and you've got a good air force, but you're up against first Lovas, which have the Nimrods, and those Nimrods were very crucial throughout this game. Like, Gonzo getting veterancy on them, relatively early, getting that commander in was really, really good. Like, shot down both of the gauntlets, which was fantastic kills for him. Shooting down Blenheims, like, those were key in this game for really shutting down the Ryhma Raappana potential.
Yeah, absolutely. You couldn't. A lot of times we see Raappana, like, as the game goes, it's just like the Air Force continues to grow, and in this game, the Air Force kind of continued to shrink, and that you can't win if your Air Force is shrinking with Raappana. It needs to be like overwhelming at some point in the game, and it never got to that point. If we're checking out the kills here, Pioniti did pretty well. One of the 75 mils did kill a whole bunch of stuff there, so that's nice. I love those things. They're super efficient at 30 points. They're one of the most efficient AT guns in the game, really. The 122, actually, look at that thing. Killed 2 Turans and a Hasadok, so all right. I was questioning.
That paid itself off.
Yeah,
90 points.
I was kind of questioning that call-in, but yeah, all right. It did stuff. That's cool. On the other side, Nimrod's eating things up. Hasaguro Shocks crushing things. The 75 mils were really, really effective. Don't see those do that much damage usually. Otherwise, yeah, not anything overwhelming, but the game didn't last that long for any unit to like go nuts, really.
Yeah, and also it's just a matter of 2 divisions that rely on like low cost units, so, or like relatively speaking low cost units. And so like Turan's trading for AT guns is actually like relatively good for Gonzo because he's got unlimited Turans. Whereas Insha doesn't really have unlimited AT guns. So whenever these infantry guns were killing AT guns, that was a bonus. The Hasago Soda Shock were just perfect for mowing down the Finnish infantry at range, and they really did. So yeah, I felt like Gonzo had Insha's number in this one, and for the series as well. So 3-1. Insha started off incredibly strong, gave us a lot of hope going into this. Then in the second game, unfortunately, dropping the ball. Third game, it looked like he could take a second game from Gonzo, but didn't quite get there. And then, like I said, I think he rolled the dice for this one, and it didn't quite work out. Unfortunate. That's good series though. But yeah, maybe would have liked to seen a game 5. Well, definitely would have liked to have seen a game 5.
No, I definitely, I don't want to say I'm rooting against Gonzo, but the other part of me would be honest if I'm saying I'm tired of seeing Gonzo win all the time, you know.
Don't put Gonzo off the game.
You know, I mean, no, he's a fantastic player.
Big.
He's an incredible player, and that's why we see him continuously win. He just makes so few mistakes, and his macro play is just always seems to be like a step ahead of everybody else. You know, you like make a push somewhere, and he's already called in troops that are basically moving in that moment to cut off the attack you were just sending. So he's just such a heads up player with that kind of stuff. And of course, his micro is 100% of the time on point. You don't get second chances and stuff. It's a really, he's just a fantastic player. It's hard, and that's not to take away from Insha, because Insha is also an excellent player. But it's so hard to go up against the macro play of Gonzo.
Yeah. And with that concludes the Division 1 Season 9 playoffs. And I'm really looking forward to Season 10.
Yes.
We've got to Season 10.
It should be exciting. If you play this game and you're not into the competitive scene, make sure to check it out. Go check out SDL and stuff. It's really exciting, a lot of fun. It really gives a lot of fun to the game and different ways of playing. So I do encourage you to go check that out.
Yeah, massive thanks to Prodos on the team for running the SDL Division League. It's really, really good for the community, and definitely deserves a lot of praise for it. Anything else you'd like to say?
Just hit that like and subscribe button if you're still here, because you're a champ, and once again you made it through our little chit chat at the end.
All right, well, that's it. Thank you very much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video, and we will see you again soon. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.